Every hero needs a trusty steed. It's one of the facts of life, and in World of Warcraft, it's no different. Many of the great heroes and villains of Azeroth have famous mounts that complement their characters and the journeys they've been on. Kael'thas had Alar, Rivendare had his Death Charger, and Arthas had Jaina. And Invincible too, I guess. Hey, I know which one I'd rather ride. Mount collecting has become an entire focus of playing WoW for some people, and it's hardly surprising, given that there are literally hundreds of mounts to collect throughout the game, with more added in every patch. But anyone with half a brain cell knows that MMOs are all about whapping out your metaphorical John Thomas, slamming it on the table, and making people say, "Crikey, that's an anaconda!" Or to couch it in terms more friendly to the sane-minded, it's about flexing on people by showing off how much effort you've put into this game at the expense of reality. And mounts are a prime example of this mentality in action. Everybody wants to be riding around on the most badass beast or bike they can get their grubby little paws on. It's like real life. I mean, come on, if you're out with your girl in the motor, in a socially distanced capacity of course, and you pull up at the lights, only to realise with emasculated shame that the Chad in the lane next to you is driving a Jag, and you're stuck there in a fucking Fiat Punto, then the only way you're going to know that your balls still even exist is that, like your very presence, they want to shrink away into a dark place never to be seen again. To put it bluntly, some mounts are bigger than others. Morrissey said that, or at least I think that's what he said, and so we must ask the question. Which mounts are the best? Wow. What a good idea for a video. An ideal opportunity for a mature, talented YouTuber to pay tribute to the various interesting and hard to obtain mounts which players cover in World of Warcraft, all whilst getting some free real estate. But I'm Vulgrin, so fuck doing the obvious easy video. That's not fun, but my list is. You see, I realised whilst I was doing this list that the mounts I picked aren't the 5 best mounts in game. No, today we're going to be examining some of the strangest, most bizarre steeds in Azeroth. The mounts which make you wonder whether the developers were blazing the Black Lotus when they were being designed. Some of the choices in this video even surprised me, and gave me a list of mounts I need to collect ASAP, I might add. Are you ready? 'Cause I am. Buckle up, buckaroo. These are my top 5 weirdest mounts in World of Warcraft. To start off this list at number 5, we're travelling to Dalaran, the magical floating city home to the wizards of the Kirin Tor, and a place us players have called home throughout 2 separate expansions over the course of the game. With such an epic setting as the location where this mount can be found, it must truly be something special. Is it a magical construct powered by the forces of the arcane? A conjured elemental? Another fidget spinner? Nah, fuck that. It's actually a giant hairy rat that you get from the sewers beneath the city. Look, I cannot be the only person who thinks that the rat stallion is a fucking awesome mount. People like me need this in WoW, a testament to how much we enjoy being cheeky little bastards, and proof that not everything in the game needs to be super serious. So how do you get this bad boy? Well, he's a reward for completing the Underbelly Tycoon achievement, which comes from looting 20,000 sightless eyes in Dalaran's underbelly, that's the sewers if you didn't already know. Now before you grab a spoon and start trying to scoop out people's eyeballs with more fervour than a Discord mod with an extra large tub of ice cream, slow down for a minute. These eyes come from killing pretty much anything that you can take out whilst in the underbelly. Typically, this area is a PvP enabled zone, and killing enemy players will get you sightless eyes, but you can also get them from killing mobs and mini-bosses. The latter will spawn when the guards are not active. You should note that the achievement comes from the total number of eyes you've collected, not the number which happens to be in your bags at the time, so you don't need to hoard them like a fucking goblinoid. Getting the rat boy might be harder now that you don't have tons of half-geared Pandaren hunters backpedaling through the sewers at all times of the day and night, but it sure is worth it. And the cherry on top of this bubonic plague spreading cake is that there is another mount out there which is also a rat, which is objectively shit in comparison to the rat stallion, and clearly designed for the complete opposite market, as it's a store-bought mount requiring absolutely no effort to attain. Even more reason to get your rat out in public. Metaphorically speaking, of course. In at number 4, we have a mount which is in truth probably the strangest one on this list, and it's only kept from taking the top spot because it's so rare that you may never have actually seen it in game. It's the magic rooster, because why wouldn't you want to hop around on an enormous angry chicken like the reincarnated spirit of Colonel Sanders? Yes, you heard me right. This thing actually exists. The reason why you've probably never seen it before is that it's a reward from the trading card game, which means that you have to either buy the card packs for a chance that you might get this thing, which by the way would have cost you an estimated $300 back in 2009, or you can hope it comes up on the auction house in-game as it can be traded. Either way, the likelihood of you ever even seeing one of these proto-tendies is as negligible as your chances of winning Isle of Conquest as Horde, meaning that the only person who's out there actually riding a giant cock right now is probably Sylvanas. For number 3, I was tempted to go with Experiment 12B because I wanted to pick a flying mount, but then I remembered that whilst the B stands for batshit insane colour scheme, and this probably is the ugliest Drake in the game, it's still not as weird as another flying mount which is out there. So at the risk of sabotaging the experiment that is my YouTube channel, I present to you the third place choice on this list. It's the High Priest's Light Swan Seeker. Ah, priests. Forever doomed to have the consistently worst visuals in the game, whether it's your F tier raid sets or your garbage order haul. Was anyone really surprised when you were given a terrifying monstrosity of a class mount too? From above, this thing looks alright, but look at it from the front, and well, like the old saying goes, if you stare long enough into the abyss stares back, in your nightmares. You get this mount through completing the Legion Fall campaign from Legion. On a priest of course, so it should be easily soloable at this point. It's worth doing for fun as a bit of content from a past expansion, especially if you didn't play that patch back then. I don't know why the fuck Blizzard decided that splicing together an owl and a lion would work for priest. They probably just ran out of ideas and thought, fuck it, we've given the paladins a boring horse which looks worse than the ones they got in vanilla, so rather than doing that again, let's grow a disgusting mess in a vat and throw it at priests because they won't give a shit. And to be honest, they were right. The fact is that in Legion, most priests were still grinning idiotically all the time and trying to tell anyone who would listen that, look, my dagger does the talky thing. Thank you, priests. Very cool. Number 2. Number 2. On this occasion, my choice was a simple one, because this mount is all that anyone can talk about right now here in Shadowlands, and I desperately need to get my hands on him. Now, if I was to tell you that in a game all about defeating terrifying, apocalyptic enemies from other dimensions, and engaging in climactic battles with players from the opposing faction, that you could spend your time riding into battle on an obese blue frog who wears a plank of wood on his head because of his self-esteem issues, you'd probably think I was fucking nuts. And I am, but this is real, I promise. The mount in question is the Arboreal gulper, which is an Arden toad, because it's a toad from Ardenweald. Smart. You get this mount by... Well look, I'm just going to show this on the screen, because if I read it out, you'll think that I've been eating a few unusually large mushrooms of my own whilst making the video. What I love about this mount is that it perfectly encapsulates the mentality of the average WoW player. In an expansion in which you can get your hands on mechanical lion mounts, monstrous vampire bats, phantom dragons, and armoured undead bulls, that's bulls, not balls by the way, the mount that everyone really wants is a fat, gormless amphibian with a floorboard on his head like he's cosplaying as a troll. I fucking love it. Hold on tight, Toad Bro, you'll be in my Pokeball soon. Finally, number 1 then. The top spot. Now by this point, you'll have hopefully noticed a theme in this video. All of the mounts I've chosen are strange in their own ways, no doubt about that. They make you scratch your head and wonder what the devs were thinking when they came up with the idea. But not in a bad way. It's these mounts which generate hype and bring people together in the quest to look as weird as possible. It's a warm reminder that the game doesn't always have to be serious. It can still be about having silly fun with strangers online. Preferably inside the Lion's Pride Inn, by the way. At number 1 then, we have a mount that was all the rage a few years ago. One that people still ask me questions about when they see me riding by on it. It is, in my opinion, the strangest, most glorious mount available in the game today. It is the Hearth Steed. No, I'm just kidding. Even I wouldn't do that to you. It's this, the Hive Mind. Why though? Have I chosen this mount for the number 1 spot because it's a beautiful example of everything the art team can produce? No. Is it because it's the only mount on this list that I actually have? No. I mean, it is, but still. The fact is that the hive mind is a low-res, monotone-coloured mount which is ugly to look at, and when I'm riding it I basically spend all my time staring at the top of the dome, wondering if there's any meaning in the patterns I can see on the brain. Beyond all of this, however, the mount is unquestionably weird. There's a strange, enigmatic quality to the hive mind which can't help but draw the eye, with many people innocently whispering me the same question. How do you get it? And therein lies the beauty of this mount, if it's even possible for an engorged floating brain with tentacles coming out of its arse to be beautiful. This mount is fairly rare, but not because it requires immense PvP skills to unlock, or because it's rewarded from completing challenging raiding content. No, this reward comes from only the hardest, most difficult feat of all. Having friends. What are those, right? Imagine this. There are people out there who have unlocked mounts requiring high levels of skill or taking months to farm out from the slightest chance of a drop. But these people still don't have this mount because it requires dedicated teamwork. The irony is as crispy as Bolvar 4 Dragon's skin, and that's why I chose it for this spot. And for that reason, I'm not going to tell you how to get this mount, because this definitely is one occasion in which you need to figure out that journey for yourself. Trust me, it's worth it. And there you have it, 5 of the weirdest mounts in World of Warcraft. Did you agree with my choices? What mounts make you frown in confusion, like Anduin Wrynn contemplating his own sexuality? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, I'm sure you already know what you can do, but just to flog a dead horse, remember to check out the links I've pinned in the comment section and stick around for more slightly unhinged and irrelevant videos. My name is Vulgrin, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.